Why do three of us have a blue dot beside our name and Karsten has a blue and a pink dot?
Well, the dot just tells you what kind of function you have in the IETF.
Karsten's obviously special.
Yeah, so there is a thing-to-thing research group that I'm chairing that gives me a pink dot. And there are a couple of working groups. No, actually, there's a single working group right now that I'm chairing that gives me a blue dot.
In fact, I can't hear Karsten.
Oh, Karsten's audible for me.
Yeah, I can hear Karsten.
Or James.
Is that Glenn speaking? We can hear you fine, Glenn.
Oh, that's better. For some reason I managed to mute the tab in the browser.
You look like you've been cycling.
No, I'm going to the gym later. It's not really cycling weather. It's a bit wet.
So I'd expect Greg to show up and ideally Stefan as well.
So the agenda today is essentially just going through the issues. Do we have anything else we need to do?
I think we need to close off our regex.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about regex. Glenn, is there any significant difference between base 09 and what was submitted?
When you say what we submitted, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Do you mean base 08?
Oh, that is the one we submitted. Pardon me. I'm just not reading the URL properly. It's okay.
Okay, yeah. I just put it there for convenience in case someone was hunting for it.
Well, we seem to have lost James. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong window. Pardon me. Don't mind me. So let's wait one more minute for the absentees and then get going.
It looks like Greg has sent an email to the list saying that he won't be attending and has put a brief comment on it. Just stating that he's now compliant to the last version, not the current version of the draft.
Oh, oddly, I don't see that email from Dennis.
No, me neither. Was it sent just to you, James?
To me and to List.
Oh.
Give it a minute.
Yeah, maybe the list is struggling a bit.
I don't suppose anybody. Oh, there's Stefan. Excellent.
Oh, got Greg's email now.
Yep. Okay. Good. Let's let Stefan get hooked up to audio.
Good morning.
Hello,
Morning.
Stefan.
Hello.
All right.
Good
James, why
morning.
don't you take it away?
Take it away. Okay.
Yes.
For the recording for later, this is the JSONPath Working Group meeting for January 2023. I'm your host, James, with Tim, my co-chair. Since this is an official IETF meeting, the note well applies here. Please note well. Note taking will usually happen as it usually does, i.e. it'll get done later. Blue sheets are automatic. There's only a handful of us, so we don't need to worry about the chat too much. That's our agenda. Much the same as last time, just an update on iRegex and going through the issues. Is there anything that anybody wants to bring up? Okay. Sure. Yes. Tim, did you want to start with your update on iRegex? Okay.
I was under the impression that Greg might have concerns for JSON schema's use of iRegex to do with anchoring, but I can't read his mind, so let's ignore that for now. Yeah.
Well, the difference in the JSON path, in the JSO usage is that JSO already uses anchors. So they would have to define how anchors are used. And since they essentially are tied to the ECMAScript definition of regular expressions, I think the usefulness of iRegex for JSON schema.org is that it provides a boundary for the gamut of functionality that you can expect to be interoperable. So you won't use it literally. You just will say this is the set of things that we expect to be supported by JSON schema.org implementations. So I don't think there is a way to make iRegex backward compatible with the current situation where people just assume all of ECMAScript regular expressions to be present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our next step.
Well,
So
the next
my
step is for me to fix a bug in the current spec. So I'm aware of well, there needs to be a clarification how you actually build the ECMAScript and PCIe versions of the expressions from the iRegex. So I will submit a PR for that in the next few days. Sorry, I intended to put this in as a working group last call comment on my own draft, but never got around to doing that. So this will need to be done before we finally send it off.
we are in last call.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we could complete the working group last call with that one working group last call comment from me, and then we could hit the publish button, and that will sooner or later bring us into IETF last call, which is the step after AD review.
Yep.
Yes.
Tim, was that after the type system was merged? Yeah, good. Okay.
Yeah, so there is one PR. Oops, has this been merged now?
Yeah.
Good. So there is one PR merged that it goes beyond -09, and we still have 13 issues, one of which we probably can simply close, but the other ones we need to discuss. Well, okay, 11 issues. Well, we probably should start with the oldest first, because these haven't got a lot of attention recently, and we should just decide whether we just close them or do some work on them. Yes, so my summary of this issue would be we are copying the JSON syntax for Unicode escapes, and we note that JavaScript actually has added \u brace code point brace as an alternative syntax, so you don't have to do the arithmetic for splitting up a non-BMP character into two surrogates. And what remains from this issue, as far as I can see it, is whether we actually adopt this ECMAScript syntax in addition to the one that is provided by JSON. So the advantage of doing that, of course, is that it's much easier to write those escapes. The disadvantage is that this is an extension over the way JSON does escapes in strings, and that may be a surprise, that may cause surprises with implementers and users.
Excuse me, what's the number of the issue we are talking about?
272.
Right now? 272, okay.
Well, I have a weak opinion that we have a single opportunity now to make JSON path slightly more usable, but it's not something we have to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence, but it does feel a bit like innovation and a bit like bias towards JavaScript, so I'm slightly against it.
I would agree too. I would agree to Glyn. Yes, I think it's not necessary.
Most languages actually have the brace syntax now. So JavaScript was actually late in adopting that. So I think on the language side, it's not a big innovation. Of course, it is an innovation in the sense that we don't know how many JSON path implementations already do that.
Yeah, probably wouldn't harm. I'll just add that and make it an editorial.
But wait a minute. Can you open the issue so we don't stare at the slide, but stare at the issue? Well, I'm just, I'm still at 272. I'm not that fast.
I'm here. And I'm looking at the wrong thing. Bear with me.
Yeah.
There we go. So where would sorry, which one was that?
272.
272. Okay. There we go.
So I just wanted to make sure that we all look at what's now. That's 310. Can you go to 272?
Just bear with me.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to make sure that we all look at what we recorded in the issue before going to the next one. So can you go to the end?
Yeah.
Okay, so since nobody is objecting, I think we're done with this. I mean, somebody has to write the PR, but that's pretty obvious.
The 273, you say? Okay. Where did we get to?
Crush spaces.
Yeah, so the issue was that the current grammar is very liberal. You can essentially put in space everywhere except inside tokens like strings or numbers. And the question was, do we want to take away some of these opportunities to insert spaces? Because, I mean, every single one of those is a potential interoperability issue. You have to test all of those in your implementation. But on the other hand, it turns out that generally when you try to remove one of them, it turns out that you really need lack of imagination to be sure that you actually can remove that. So for instance, if we look at the change that is on the page on child longhand, of course you wouldn't put spaces within the brackets as long as that JSON path query is on a single line. But if the query becomes complicated enough to actually write it up in multiple lines, then breaking the line after the opening bracket suddenly becomes the normal way of doing this. So I think it's really difficult to identify assets here that we really want to get rid of. So my take here would be to not do it.
I would, not wearing my chair hat, I would agree that we shouldn't get rid of optional white space simply for the usability issue of people fumbling around trying to figure out how to write their queries, and if it's big and complex enough, they'll want to put in white space simply to figure out how it works. And by not having support for the spaces, then that means implementations will have to do some sort of pre-filter or impact the user experience. So neither sound particularly good for our end users.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, just to add, I think we've got enough cases where we will have white space, optional white space in the spec that implementers need to worry about it anyway. Once they've got a solution, they can apply it willy-nilly. It's more of an issue for testing. No, let's close it.
Three, 10.
So I
Good.
just close 273 just to make sure that we all agree on that.
Good.
Yes.
Well, on 310, I think that we have had a good discussion that essentially led to what is now in -09. And I think the particular issue raised here is simply overtaken by events. So I think we can simply close this.
After this valuable discussion, I think we can close it. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to go along with the drift. I think we just need to document that the functions are non-optional. Functions in the spec are non-optional, mandatory. Yeah.
Well, they are trivial if you do have regular expressions in your implementation. But yes, I think we want to make sure that batteries are included and we do have regular expressions.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll add a comment. Costa's beaten me to it. Fine. Yeah.
So can you point to the placeholder?
Yeah, maybe. Let me have a look. It's gone by.
325.
Yeah, the just above section 265, it says note that there is no deduplication of the node list. Well, that can be discussed, it says.
Ah, that's my comment. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So did we discuss this, and are we happy that the discussion has concluded?
I think so. I mean, we could always add it later as a dedupe function could be added quite easily.
Oh, I'm just seeing a bug in the data tracker representation of the draft. It doesn't identify comments as such. That's very confusing. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I think the conclusion is to remove the editor's note.
Yeah.
So that means no deduplication occurs, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Yes, I agree.
No, we can't close the issue because we still have to remove the editorial comment. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Tim's comment 13 hours ago.
Me too. So when you say URI encoding, you mean percent encoding?
Yes. Yes, I agree here. So it's fine.
Well, I just put in a very brief comment, and I can edit that to be a little bit more verbose. I think that's a very good question. My take of the current draft is that the answer to this question doesn't make a difference. So if you implement this with shortcutting, you get exactly the same results that you get when implementing without shortcutting. But I'd like us to be very sure about that before we close this issue.
Yeah, my concern was if function extensions are added later that have side effects, then short circuiting would, make a difference.
So we should add text that explicitly includes side effects.
Sorry, could you say it again, please?
And text that explicitly excludes side effects. Yes.
I also see functions as pure functions cannot having side effects. I'm wondering about talking about side effects of functions. I cannot see how functions are able to be to side effects.
Well, I mean,
if they do, we pardon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could have a side effect to memorize a result, which would, be entirely an implementation detail. Actually, that wouldn't affect the semantics, but yeah, logging is an example, a stretch.
Is this really?
If you go down, you can see my proposed resolution. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, but I closed it, and we still have to do the what the resolution actually says.
I like the philosophy of them being pure functions, but I'm just wondering if we're going to limit ourselves in an unexpected way there.
Well, the problem is if you do not limit this, then you would actually have full discussion of sequence of evaluation, and I'm not sure that we want that.
It might be a slightly non-trivial editorial task to express that.
Okay, how about this slightly strange scenario? Suppose there was a function implementation which just crashed out of memory, whatever, occasionally, and someone wanted to code a guard on a function, on a predicate, in a filter expression to avoid that happening. And and because we reordered the evaluation, because an implementation reordered the evaluation, it crashed anyway. Didn't check the guard first.
Yeah, don't crash would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I know, but suppose a stupid function does that, and then a less stupid implementer wants to get around that.
Well, the implementer can just fix it. Do you mean a user of the query mechanism wants to put in a fix that is specific to that implementation?
Well, it's not specific to that implementation, but it would help. It would get around the problem with that particular implementation. So they're up against it. They've got an issue in production. This thing has crept out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
They can't upgrade the JSON path implementation because the fix isn't available. And they put a guard in, and it works some of the time. And it works, not all the time.
Well, given that the fix is actually implementation specific, the implementation could still provide a sequencing model, and we don't have to put it in the spec.
Yeah, I just wondered if we could do something soft, like say implementations may short circuit evaluation of.
Oh, certainly, yes. So this is one of those places where the implementation is free to choose an implementation strategy, one of which may be short-circuiting, and the other one may not be short-circuiting. And if an implementation is worried about crashing all the time, then maybe they better implement short-circuiting. But I don't think we want to make that comment.
But at the moment in the spec, it's not clear that short-circuiting is an option for implementations.
Okay, yeah, so let's add text.
I think I would make that a should.
Make what a should?
The function side effects business, rather than the must, because if we
No, it must be a must.
I'm just a bit hesitant about ruling out use cases we haven't thought of. I could go with must.
Yeah, the problem with should is that now you suddenly have a wide open hole for new interoperability issues, and I'm pretty sure that we don't want those.
Yeah, I guess the thing is that it's not the side effects that concern me. It's that the result of the function should be a pure function in terms of its result. The implementation can have side effects like memoization, and that's fine. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So Carsten's words there are quite helpful, e.g. beyond memoization or logging.
So it seems to be a logical consequence if implementation of function may have side effects. So it may be left to the implementation if they do short circuit or not. I agree to the idea to leave it to the implementation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we make this issue do two things: to emphasize that functions should be pure, and also to say that implementations may short circuit evaluation?
That's what the text currently says. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at James's screen. Yeah, that's great. Say again, Tim. Sorry, the line's bad.
Well, your microphone is kind of in a blanket, so this is not bad audio on the transmission path, but I think you need to reposition your microphone. No, it's perfect except that it's muffled. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only thing we currently can compute in JSONPath is a Boolean value. So this essentially argues for introducing a way to actually use this Boolean value in further computation, for instance, in a comparison. And I think that would be something that is that users might actually try to use because they would be able to use this in programming languages, but it doesn't actually add functionality. So I don't think we need to do this. And of course, the nice thing is that it's currently not allowed. So it's much easier to add later than changing the semantics of something that is allowed.
I would agree with that, but issue 345 might impinge on that decision. That's the first one.
Okay, let's go to that one first then.
Thank you. Yeah, so this was behavior that we added recently because the match and search functions needed a comparison to true or similar to be usable. It wasn't possible to just say question mark match in a filter expression. So we introduced the optional Boolean to deal with that. Thank you, Carsten. But the existence test text still talks about, it still has the old text basically. So an optional Boolean of true an optional Boolean return value of false would pass an existence test, which is just what you don't want. So the link with the previous issue that we were discussing is whether predicates can interoperate with JSON Boolean values.
Yeah, to me, this seems to be an editorial issue. We forgot to actually change the text there, and it's pretty clear what we want to do there. So let's do it.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about referential transparency. If you have a match that returns a true value, how is that different from any other true value? For instance, $.foo with the Boolean value true in an existence test, or $.foo with value false, more importantly, in an existence test.
Well, we would make it different. So that would be the answer to that question.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? It does break referential transparency.
You might use, if to get sure as an user, you might to prepend to exclamation marks. So you make it explicit to access the value. Would this be a solution?
Not sure what you're proposing there, Stefan.
Well, the point of the change was to make the example actually work. That has a it's not in this issue. Now you are at 335 again?
Maybe I misunderstand the topic of this issue.
Yeah, so there is a new example in -09 that has a match in the position of an existence text, a match that is not extended to be a comparison, but just using the match function. And apparently we missed, or I missed putting in the text there that having a function that returns a Boolean or an optional Boolean is allowed in this specific position and has this and that semantics. And my suggested resolution would be to actually put in the text.
So just playing that back in different words, you're saying that a Boolean false value returned from a function declared to have return type of optional Boolean behaves differently than a Boolean false value returned, or, coming back from a path.
Yeah, except that we never look at the value. We only look at existence.
In the path case?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're special casing.
Well, yeah. We are special casing in the sense that a function that has a Boolean return signature actually is interpreted in a different way than a value that we cannot get because we only look at the existence of the value and not the value of the value. So yes, it's a special case, but it's a well-protected special case. You cannot really confuse that. So you could put in an identity function just for fun that then suddenly allows you to put value lookups into the existence test mechanism, but I don't think we need that.
Right. I'm just a little bit concerned about the concrete representation of Boolean. See, we've got the representation of Boolean is value true or value false. So the instances of value true and value false. And the concrete representation of value true is the JSON value true. So, you know,
Yeah, so you actually have to implement this right, but this is not that surprising.
Yeah. Okay, let's add clarification text in the existence test section to make it clear that this is a special case.
Well, it's certainly not surprising once we have fixed the text. We have to fix the text to make sure it's not a surprise.
It could be surprising to somebody who never read the spec.
Yeah, so let's make sure that the text actually takes away that surprise.
Yeah.
So why is your screen not updating, James? Oops.
Apologies for that. I refreshed the wrong page.
Thank you.
I think 345 is okay with Carsten's comments. So we can go back to the previous one now.
335.
Yeah. And I think now that we're in the realm of special cases for optional Boolean, we're okay to go the way we were going on this one, which I think was to close it.
No, it's okay.
I don't think we actually have to put in text. Can you scroll down a little bit? Well, you should see some proposed resolution text. That's weird. Yeah, so that is my proposed resolution to this.
I think Craig will have a problem with that, but I don't.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, there are two elements to this discussion. One is that the grammar implicitly allows nested expressions, and we probably should be explicit about that. And the other one is, do we get to reference the equivalent of the @ sign in the higher enclosing expressions? And to me, it seems the discussion indicated that this probably would be a nice feature to have, but it's also not that easy to come up with an example that actually needs that.
Yes, it was a surprise for me to stumble about the fact that there seems to be a scoping problem with the @ sign with nested filter expressions, and so this was a very spontaneous discussion. I enjoyed it a lot. I see it's quite important to support nested filters. I think we all agree about this fact to support nested filters. But yesterday we learned, or I learned, that there are some deficiencies exactly because of the scoping problem. It's possible to reference values at the outermost level, the dollar scope, but not any value in the parent level or upper level. But I tend to agree to Glyn, who says that in practice it's only in few occasions we don't hear a lot about the use of nested filters. So I would like to let focus on this problem, but it's quite late to the party. We should defer this for the future. So another point is, what shall we do with empty filter expressions? So when you have a bracket, a question mark, and the closing bracket immediately,
That's not currently allowed.
Is this, it might return false as a
No, it would be a syntax error.
normal, or it's a syntax error.
It's a syntax error.
Okay, so maybe we write this somewhere into the spec. Would this be necessary? What to mention empty filter expressions?
I think that's an edge case, and it's covered by the ABNF anyway.
It's covered by the, yeah. I think it's,
there are very few programming languages that actually allow empty expressions. So I think that the surprise that we don't either is not going to be very large.
Okay, so I think we don't have anything to do and wait for users complaining about the scoping problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So my proposed solution is to actually mention that nested filter expressions are allowed. I mean, this is, it's always weird to mention something that already should be obvious from the text,
yes.
but sometimes
from the ABNF also.
So you have to weigh the confusion of explicitly mentioning it with the confusion of not mentioning at all. But I think it turns out that it's a good thing to say this. And we could actually use this mention to also mention that add is only available for innermost only.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
this would be fine.
Yeah, I might approach that editorially in a slightly different way, but I agree with the sentiment. Yes.
So my proposed resolution would be to point out that not all these types are useful as return types. Well, it's a weird syntax error because you actually have to register something that is not useful to be able to make that syntax error. So that's maybe something the designated expert should point out. Hello, the registration you are making is not useful.
We could get rid of the absent type because it's it is useless.
Well, it sure helps keep the hierarchy clean.
Okay, if it's possible to skip that absent type, I would be in favor of exactly doing this. Yes, Glyn says we don't need it, so let's skip it. As a result type, return type.
Yeah, it's also not very useful to have an argument type of absent. So yes, we could remove that.
And just to point out that absent isn't the same as void in C, because absent actually has an instance, has the instance of nothing. So a function with return type absent would always return the value nothing.
We unfortunately do not have an undefined in JSON, so it's ever circling problem. But we need to deal with that.
Yeah, the problem with undefined is that it is used for multiple usages, and we have nailed down what nothing actually means.
Yeah,
very close.
I read this. Yes.
So does anyone think we should keep the absent type?
Yes.
Absent type is not a concrete type, but it's an abstract type, right?
Yes.
The same as nothing. And
no, nothing is a value. Nothing, excuse me, is an instance.
Nothing is an instance.
Absent is the type. Go ahead, Jen.
I was just going to say absent is a concrete type.
Absent is not a concrete type.
No.
Or is a concrete type.
Absent is a concrete type.
Okay, a non-existing member, for instance.
There's no question. I mean, nothing exists.
Okay.
Yeah. So the house of cards will not fall down if we remove the absent card. I still prefer the type system to include this, so people who are used to having a type just for that feel at home. But we can also remove it.
Yeah,
if we can make the type system more lean, I would prefer that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I added that, I was thinking of adding optional values as well, values plural, and couldn't see the point in doing that, so I didn't do it. But it didn't occur to me to get rid of absent at the time, and I think we should.
So if Glyn says we need it, we leave it. But if we don't need it,
personally, I think we don't need it, and we can get rid of it. Carsten's got hesitations because of the type system.
Okay, so my proposed resolution is now to remove the absent type.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's why it's marked as a task. But clearly, we do have the issue that I think Stefan pointed out in that email message. So we really have to do this.
Yeah, sorry, I this was merely a question because I didn't understood. So I should have better raise an issue, but you did. Okay. We indeed should do a full grammar review. I would also do it parallel to you, and this would be a good valuable thing. Yes.
Is there any
So-
tooling available to explore ABNF grammars?
There.
Well, there are lots of tools. I was thinking of maybe using the tooling that I have for ABNF to write a very simple tool that allows us to dump a set of examples, both positive and negative examples, into the ABNF and see if it's properly accepted or rejected. So that will be a few lines of code. And I could write that tool, or we could figure out how to use the existing ABNF tools to do that.
I don't think about finding errors primarily, but maybe to some renaming, maybe use some shorter names or things like that.
Yeah, there is a bit of fat in the ABNF at the moment, so we could certainly compress it.
Yeah, I would prefer to clarify it instead of compressing it. But, yes. So the problem really is that we have everything twice because we have or three times because we have a normalized variant and a singular variant, and I think we would be better off if we could somehow consolidate that. But I don't have a really good proposal how to do that.
Yeah, the example I was thinking of was when we get relation expression equals comp expression. That just seems to be a synonym. And we should probably pick one or the other. There may be other cases where that's crept in.
I was stumbling yesterday about child longhand, child segment and child longhand, and dot wildcard shorthand, and the same at the descendant segment. This is descendant segment and descendant child. This is more logical, more clear. And I was thinking about how to rename the child segment similar, but I had not a good solution. I would try to think about this a little longer. This is what I mean about going through the ABNF one more and do
Yeah, so
proposals.
suffice to say, a few of us have got some ideas for improvement.
Yes.
But it's okay as it is. This are only some.
Carsten, we've lost your audio.
1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
No. Sorry, my fault. I muted my tab again somehow. I don't know what I'm doing that. How I'm doing that.
Yeah, so we did the usual thing. We made the changes that are needed, but we need a refactor step, and let's do that refactor step. And I think it's probably best if we do this in small steps. So each of us will propose some improvement instead of having a monster PR that changes everything and then needs to merge with another monster PR that also changes everything but slightly differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Can we have a quick look at the mail from Greg that arrived?
What, on the comment on 345, do you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. He says what is optional Boolean, but he also claims to have implemented it.
No, he has implemented -08.
Yeah, which included optional Boolean.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the return value of match and search is optional Boolean, which Greg claims to have implemented, but I think he's missed that little late breaking change.
Right. Yeah, I don't blame him. It's not easy to keep up with the velocity of making changes here. Yeah, so I think we can disregard this at the moment. I think so.
Yeah, to be honest, I still haven't done a complete read through because I felt there was too much churn.
Yeah.
So, but that would be editorial changes, I suspect, unless I spotted a showstopper.
Yeah, I have to reinstate Greg's integrity here. No optional Boolean is not in -08. So, yeah, but we should ask him to implement -09, and then we will know whether that works for him.
Oh, yeah, -09. Thank you. Yeah. Do we need to discuss when we have the next interim?
Yes.
Yep. There's the end of March.
End of March.
I would expect us to have an interim about 4 weeks from now.
Okay, so that would be approximately the 7th of February. Yes. So week 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do my usual and put a doodle poll out. Yeah. Okay.
Have a good night's sleep.
Yes. Well,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
yeah. Bye.